It's not often that the Naruto series is known for its horror elements. Like, it does sometimes have scary aspects to it that one can almost liken to horror. Just one thing off the top of my head would probably be the Naruto Shippuden movie, in which an insane man under the influence of a demon attempts to break the seal, all while Naruto focuses on a prophecy of his own death. That's pretty scary. But in most cases, Naruto is known for emotional rises and drops. But you know, since it is spooky season, why don't we make a little bit of a horror tale? Welcome to the Amagi. Before we begin, only 25% of our viewers are subscribed, so if you're a fan of the video, please like and double check that you are subscribed. And with that out of the way, let's get into the video. The night had come. The Chunin exams had ended quite some time ago, and Tsunade was settling into her new position as the 5th Hokage. It was a time where Konoha was only just now recovering from the damage done. Sasuke was only just now getting out of the hospital after having his wrist snapped by his elder brother, and Naruto couldn't help but think about that. He couldn't help but think about the traitor he had found in Kabuto. Naruto had respected Kabuto, and for Kabuto to do what he had done, attempting to kill Tsunade, attempting to kill Naruto himself, he began to wonder how something like that could happen. He saw how Orochimaru had betrayed Jiraiya and Tsunade and just wondered how it could be that friends could turn against each other. How did treason exist in the world? Why did people choose to turn against you? When you pour your heart and soul into loving someone only for that person to treat you like garbage and attempt to hurt you later. How did that happen? Naruto thought these things as he walked down the road. Perhaps it was due to the hatred in the world, latching onto hearts like a virus, taking away people's humanity and replacing it with the need to destroy and hurt and kill. Tonight was just one of those weird nights for Naruto. They didn't happen often, but sometimes when he was left alone to think, his mind couldn't help but produce the darkest, most depressing topics. And right now he was caught on betrayal, the betrayal of friends. He hoped and prayed that he never had to experience the betrayal of a friend like Jiraiya and Tsunade had. Naruto didn't know what he would do if Sakura or Sasuke ever betrayed him. The thought shook him to his core. As he returned home, he felt his body aching from the work he had done, and even though the sun had only just sunk beyond the horizon and only a bit earlier did the stars come out to play, Naruto wasn't feeling it. Tonight was a weird night for him. His heart just wasn't in it. He got himself a hearty meal and freshened up to wash away the day's work and toil before sliding into bed. A lonely air was hovering about him like a fog, and he just couldn't wait to get over it. He couldn't wait to flush the fear of loss, the questions of betrayal, and the acts of treason from his mind. Sleep was just what he needed. Not just to rest his body, but to push the night by quicker so that Naruto could hurry up and wake up to start the next day. Team 7 was his home. It was his family. And since tomorrow was the first time they would have been together since the end of the Chunin exams, Naruto was grateful that they would be there for him so he could forget his troubles. As he closed his eyes, he felt himself drifting off into Neverland. He slept hard, really hard, so hard that he didn't hear anything, not until the sound of a door being busted down broke through. Naruto woke with a start. The house was exceptionally dark. Standing up, he heard the door thudding as a heavy force was behind it. Eyes widened in terror, he grabbed his plush frog, a flashlight, and the nearest kunai, slowly making his way through the apartment. He saw the door. It moved, almost seeming to be breathing. There'd be a loud thud as the door jolted. 3 seconds of silence reigned over the darkness before another thud could be heard of the same loudness as before. This went on in 3-second intervals over and over again. Naruto drew close. He tried to look out the peephole, but it was as if a thick black fog hovered just beyond. Naruto was terrified. "It's the devil! The devil's come to my house," he thought to himself. You know, in most cases, people who think the devil's outside of their house wouldn't dare to open the door, but the fear of not knowing and the curiosity of why the devil would be there had Naruto subconsciously unlocking it. He had only noticed what he was doing when it was too late. He freaked out when he realized he had accidentally unlocked the door. Suddenly, the doorknob began to move. Naruto panicked. He gripped the doorknob and pressed his body against it, trying to bar it shut. As the door began to open, he kept it closed, blocking it with his body. Suddenly, he felt himself moving as if the door was charged. The same force that had been attempting to knock the door down was now moving him to the side. Naruto felt himself get launched by the force, striking against the door. As he lay on the floor, squeezing his frog in a death grip, he looked back and saw a dark shadow in the doorframe. Naruto screamed in terror of it until the figure turned on a light to show that it was Sakura. "You dolt! Why didn't you just open the door?" Naruto began to calm down, realizing it wasn't the devil, just an angry Sakura. Which of the outcomes was worse, he didn't know. "Sorry," Naruto said. Sakura closed the door behind her as she looked through the peephole. She turned off the lights. "What's going on?" Naruto asked. Sakura covered his mouth. Naruto heard heavy footfall outside the door. He felt sweat rolling down his cheeks. He could hear his own heartbeat drumming in his ears. He was holding his breath and didn't even know it. He heard the feet stop outside of his door. Sakura looked at the handle and realized she'd forgotten to lock the door behind her. She slowly drew closer to the door, putting her fingers on the lock and slowly turning the key. As she did, she held it so it wouldn't make a sound when it clicked. Once the door was locked, she took a step back. A hand touched the handle and tried to open it, but when the door remained closed, it seemed to give up. The heavy footfall passed by until darkness overtook them. Sakura put her finger to her lip to keep Naruto quiet. She then moved back deeper and began to close all the blinds. Naruto drew closer. "What's going on?" he whispered, afraid anything more might draw back whatever tried to follow Sakura into his home. She looked back. I can't explain it. I think something's wrong. I think Konoha is under attack." "Who's attacking us?" Naruto asked. Sakura began to peek out one of the windows. "That's the thing. I think it's us?" "Us?" Naruto asked. Sakura nodded. "The village is under attack by Konoha-nin, or something that looks like it." "Why would Konoha-nin be attacking the village?" Naruto asked. She turned her gaze to face him. "I don't know, but something's wrong with them. I was chased here by Mr. Marino." "The interrogation guy?" Naruto asked. "I think it was, at least. It roughly looked like him, but something had changed." "What changed?" Naruto felt a chill running down his spine as those words passed his lips. "He didn't exactly look like Mr. Marino. His skin was gray, and his eyes were like stoplights, wide, round, and glowing red. He gave off the scent of roadkill that's been baking in the sun too long, and his touch was like a popsicle." "You're just messing with me," Naruto said as he seemed to be pushing it off. "It's almost like you're describing a zombie." Sakura nodded vigorously. "Yes, it was just like a zombie." Naruto put his kunai down. "I was sleeping so well, I didn't need you to wake me up for some nonsense. I'm all for a good prank, but you gotta do better than this." "You think I'm joking?" she asked. Naruto shrugged. "Well, who could believe a story like that? You're either pranking me or on drugs, one of the two." Sakura went and turned on the television. The only thing available was an emergency alert. A black screen with an eerie tone playing in the background, not too unlike Clocktown Final Hours. The Konoha symbol was on the screen with words running across the bottom that said shelter in place order is enacted. Streets are unsafe. Bar your doors and windows. Do not open your door or trust anyone, including Konoha military, until the order is lifted. This message was followed by the stamp of the 5th Hokage, indicating that this was a direct order from Lady Tsunade. Naruto felt the color drain from his face as a cold chill overtook him. You're joking. There's no way that's real." Sakura took Naruto by the shoulders. "Naruto, it's real. I saw it myself. I swear I'm not lying to you. Something's wrong." Naruto looked over at the clock. It read 3 a.m. "But why? Why is this stuff happening?" Sakura shook her head. "I don't know, but I do know that as shinobi, it's up to us to do something. We can't hide. All active shinobi are being called up to fight this menace." "Well, what are we supposed to do?" Naruto asked. "We're gonna find Sasuke, and then we're gonna run to the Hokage's office. Lady Tsunade will know what's happening. She'll know how to fix it." Naruto nodded. Is it bad out there?" Sakura was silent for a moment before nodding. "Yeah, it's pretty bad. I saw shinobi fighting. These things can take insane punishment. And, well, most of the, I've been calling them drones, seem to be quite mindless. Some of the more elite shinobi, like Mr. Marino, they've become, they're just insane. The best you can really do is run away. Hope you can escape." Naruto felt as if he wanted to cry. "Are we gonna die, Sakura?" he asked. Sakura walked over and gave him a hug. "No, I won't let you, Naruto. I won't let you die, nor will I let Sasuke die, even if I have to sacrifice myself to be sure." "I won't let you sacrifice yourself for me," Naruto said. "We'll all get out of this together." Sakura smiled. "Okay, now go get your stuff. We gotta go." Naruto nodded. He ran to his room and proceeded to get his work clothes on, as well as his supplies. As he walked out of his room, he went to tell Sakura that he was ready, only to see her at the kitchen, watching the door. Something was outside. "Sakura," a voice said from outside. "You've been a very bad shinobi. You need to be reprimanded," it said. Naruto's eyes widened and he felt like he might puke. Sakura pointed toward his window. Naruto and Sakura walked into his room, closed the door, and opened the window. At just that moment, they heard the door come off its hinges. Sakura began to push Naruto out onto the outer wall. She joined him there, closing the window behind them. They then scaled the wall to the roof and they got on top. Looking out over the village, Naruto noted that the entire area seemed even darker. Darkness itself almost seemed to absorb light into it. Much of the village was dark as people were either still sleeping or holed up in their homes, lights off to keep people out. There were skirmishes everywhere, paper bombs going off, screams of terror, cries of war. Naruto couldn't understand. Together, they went from rooftop to rooftop, attempting to avoid the battles below. As they jumped, Naruto kept looking around. He got a glimpse of at least one of these creatures. They hardly looked human anymore. Their limbs seemed capable of moving in inhuman ways, as if their bones were no longer solid. And yet, that didn't weaken them. Their strength had increased, in fact. Their jaws were slack, opening wide, their eyes open and glowing red. No iris or pupil could be seen. It was just as Sakura had described. To think that something like this existed in the world. Looking back, Sakura saw about 2 or 3 blocks back, on top of the building they had just been standing on, a shadow. Shit, was all Sakura could think. Her inner self was panicking. Even the toughest part of her was terrified of the concept of being hunted by one of these things. Naruto looked back and saw the creature, the form of Ibiki Marino standing there, eyes glowing red, teeth like needles. As they rushed off, they found Sasuke's apartment. Entering inside, they looked around, but he was nowhere to be found. "Where's Sasuke?" Naruto asked. Sakura looked around. "It looks like he hasn't been here in quite some time," she said. She then thought about it. Sometimes Sakura tends to go to the Uchiha clan compound, to his old home. "Why would he do that?" Naruto asked. Sakura shrugged. "I don't know. I guess it's either to feel at home or to remember his pain and seek to increase his hatred toward Itachi. Regardless, he tends to go there, and maybe that's a good thing." "Why would that be a good thing?" Naruto asked. "Because the Uchiha compound is abandoned. Nobody lives there. That means there's less shinobi to be there, which also means there's a chance there's no enemies there." Naruto trembled at the mention of the word enemies as he remembered what he had seen. Sakura seemed nervous. "Are you okay?" Naruto asked. Sakura looked at him. "I'm nervous. What if he's not there either? What if what if he's one of those creatures by now?" Naruto hugged Sakura. "You know Sasuke. He's too tough for that. I know he's at the Uchiha clan compound. We just gotta go find him." Sakura nodded. The two of them then left Sasuke's apartment and headed toward the outskirts of the village. When they got to the entrance of the compound, Naruto and Sakura looked around. It was completely dark. Not even light from the moon and stars lit their way, as a thick cloud of darkness had covered everything. It was an unusual darkness, like something out of a nightmare. As they slowly made their way through, they looked around carefully to see if they could spot anything. Content that nothing was in the way, they continued to explore the location until they found Sasuke's home. There was a light on inside the house. "See, I told you he'd be home." They began to make their way upstairs. Once they got there, they found Sasuke sitting there by a desk, his head turned in their direction in surprise. "Naruto, Sakura, what are you guys doing here?" Sakura turned out the lights. "Hey, I was using that," Sasuke said as he tried to turn the lamp back on, only for his wrist to be grabbed by Naruto. "Hey, ouch," Sasuke cried as Naruto pulled back his hand. "Sorry, I forgot you broke it." "What the hell is wrong with you two?" Sasuke asked as he looked at them. Sakura spoke. "Have you not heard what's going on?" Sasuke looked at them. "Is it something bad?" They took time to explain to him what was going on. Sasuke was shocked to hear it. He had never heard of anything like this happening, and after showing him the same emergency alert on TV, Sasuke had no choice but to believe them. "So some strange force is possessing shinobi around the village and turning them into monsters. What can we do to stop this?" he asked. "We're gonna go talk to Lady Tsunade to find out," Sakura said. Sasuke nodded. He then slipped on his shoes and grabbed his gear. "Then let's get to her." Together, they made their way out the door. They walked down the way a bit. "Be warned," Sakura said. "It's a war zone out there, and I think we're losing. Watch out for any elite shinobi," she said. Sasuke nodded. They continued on their way to the gate when they heard a rustling nearby. The trio turned toward it with a start. They slowly drew closer, each with their weapons at the ready. Sasuke had his hands ready to perform Chidori should he need it, but as they drew closer, the box shifted and fell over, revealing a small tabby cat. The trio let out a sigh of relief. That was until a hand gripped the tabby's tail and pulled it back into the shadows where its hissing cry could be heard. They grew terrified as the image of Ibiki Marino appeared before them, his mouth and razor teeth coated in vibrant red blood. His eyes glowed the same color as the tabby's blood around his mouth as he drew closer. "After so much time, finally, I've found you, Sakura." Sweating buckets, Sakura had no strength to speak anything but her question. "Why me?" A fog exited his mouth, as if it were cool outside and his warm breath had turned to condensation. There was a chill in the air now that wasn't present before, and it made no sense that it should be, as it was summertime, but at this point they were almost shivering. Sasuke took a deep breath. "You're just another man, just another shinobi. I've killed before and I'll do it again too. I'm not stopping, not until I complete my mission of killing Itachi." Ibiki seemed to chuckle a bit, though it couldn't really be heard. "That is, if Itachi isn't one of us now." "What even are you?" Naruto asked. "We are the unity. We are the one. We are not the many who makes up one. We are the one who makes up the many." "Nah, that's creepy as hell, man," Naruto said. Marino continued to draw closer. "Stay back," Sasuke shouted. "If you want to live, stay back." Marino laughed. "It's funny. You say that like I am. The secret, dear Genin, is that you never fear death when you're no longer alive. You can't kill what is already dead. It's liberating. Join us and you will find immortality." "Pass," Sasuke said. Marino shook his head. It wasn't a question. With inhuman speed, he rushed them. Sasuke attempted to strike him in the chest with his kunai, but Marino dodged it. For such a large man, he moved like a cat. That might not have even been his own speed though, but the speed of whatever this was that had changed him. As his clawed, bloody hand rose to slice at Sasuke, Naruto threw kunai and shuriken that pinned the hand to the nearest wall. Marino stood there for a moment before pulling himself free of his pinned hand. Leaving the severed hand pinned to the wall, Marino drew closer to them once again. Despite the fact that his arm was no longer attached to his body, the fingers were still moving. Sakura looked like she was going to be sick. "Do you know what happened to your parents, Sakura?" Sakura's eyes widened in horror. Sasuke growled. He performed hand signs and rushed forward, putting his hand through Marino's chest before ripping his hand up and splitting his torso at the shoulder. Sasuke pulled back, holding the still beating heart in his hand. He discarded it. Marino fell back. Sasuke, huffing and puffing, turned to Sakura. She was crying as she thought about what he had said. "Ignore him. He was just trying to get into your head. We need to get to the Hokage's office." Sakura tried to push it from her mind. Suddenly, the tabby from before rushed past them, a massive bite taken out of its back. Its eyes glowed too, and its speed seemed to surpass anything that a cat that size should be capable of. Sasuke threw his kunai and pinned the cat to the wall by its head. "What the? How did it survive?" "I don't think it did," Naruto said. "Marino killed it and then reanimated it." Sasuke shook his head. "Is this what happens to those killed by the creatures? They become this? It's intel we can take to Lady Tsunade. We just have to—" "Look out!" Sakura shouted. Marino was up again and lunging at Sasuke. He bit Sasuke on the shoulder. He lifted him into the air, Sasuke screaming as he was slammed into the ground. Sitting on top of him, Marino almost seemed to unhinge his jaw in preparation for consuming the entirety of Sasuke's skull. Sasuke activated his Sharingan to see if he couldn't find a weak point. That was when he noticed chakra flowing to another part of the torso. In the area near the heart, there was an abnormal growth that seemed to pulsate. Strange chakra emanated from that area. Sasuke reached into the chest cavity with his hand, gripping the strange tumor and ripping it out, causing Marino to let out a blood-curdling scream, not like anything any human could ever make, before he fell over. Sasuke tossed it to the side and sat up. Sakura ran over. "Are you okay, Sasuke?" she asked. Sasuke nodded. "Yeah, it looks like these things have some core-like structure in them. It seems that the only way to kill them is to destroy it." They then looked over at the tabby cat to find that it was gone, having left its own head behind. Naruto helped Sasuke up. "Are you sure you're okay? You're bleeding." He pointed to Sasuke's shoulder. He nodded. "I'll be fine." Sakura proceeded to use the mystic palm technique in hopes of stopping the bleeding and closing the wound. Once she was finished, she stepped back. "You're good now." She seemed to still be bothered by what Marino had said about her parents. Frankly, they were all worried about the village, but there was nothing they could do now. They had to get to Tsunade, so they left the compound. Racing along rooftops, they made their way toward the Hokage's mansion. The entire village and its leadership was in disarray. There was no way to properly fight back, especially when every shinobi killed entered the ranks of these monsters. Breaking through a window, they entered the facility. It was dark, no guards were present. Every door seemed to be locked. They made it to the Hokage's office. There they opened the door. They saw her chair facing away from them, and the sound of sobbing could be heard. "Lady Tsunade?" The sobbing stopped. "Lady Tsunade, is that you?" Sakura asked. Suddenly the chair turned around to show the face of Shizune. "Shizune, where's Lady Tsunade?" Shizune then spoke. Lady Tsunade, she was attacked, and now she's one of them. Sakura fell to her knees. No, Lady Tsunade was our only hope of finding a way to reverse this. Shizune shook her head. Sakura, it can't be reversed. Even Lady Tsunade knew that. She said so right before she turned. The only thing you can do is kill them. You don't know that, Naruto said. I do know that, Naruto, Shizune said. I may not be as powerful as a healer as Tsunade was, but even I know there's no cure for death. What are these things? Sasuke asked. Where did they come from? Shizune, wiping tears from her eyes, spoke. Before Tsunade turned, she managed to put together an educated guess. We call them jiangshi. From what we can tell, it's a sort of fungal parasite. It feeds off of the user's chakra, and as a result, their cells begin to die, decaying quickly until they resemble a rotting corpse. Besides that, it seems to grant unusual strength and movement speed as it releases a toxic form of chakra. The body of the host is practically killed from the inside out, but they still remain conscious during this time. If they're still conscious, then why do they act the way that they do? Sasuke asked. They should be still attempting to protect the village, shouldn't they? Shizune shakes her head. This fungal parasite, similar to the Ophiocordyceps unilateralis, releases toxins and manipulates the host's chakra to put them into a genjutsu-like state, in which they seem to believe that they're helping the village by spreading this pathogen. Wait, if they're under genjutsu, then can't we break them out? Naruto asked. Shizune nodded. That was how Kakashi managed to defeat Tsunade. Using his Sharingan, he managed to break her out of the genjutsu. Due to that, we learned that the true core of this fungus is located under the village. It was apparently brought here to be cultivated by Orochimaru on the chance that the Konoha Crush failed. After divulging this information, Tsunade expired. Since Kakashi's Sharingan seemed to have the ability to manipulate this fungus, I sent him underground to deal with the parasite. Where's the entrance to the underground? Sasuke asked. Shizune was startled. What? You're going? Naruto nodded. Kakashi-sensei's our master. We have to help him or he could die. A team sticks together. Shizune let out a sigh. The only entrance to the underground that seems to have survived is the one at the basement of the academy. But please, be careful. Jiangshi seem to be everywhere around that area. I would suggest infiltrating from the roof to avoid conflict. The team nodded. They then began to leave the mansion, heading for the roof. As they did so, Sasuke thought about what Shizune said. He assumed that if they killed this fungal core, then the rest of the parasites would die, including the ones currently infecting his shoulder. He looked at the red, itchy area. His hand resting upon it, he felt the heat of the fever within. His body's immune system was fighting it, but not too long from now, it would be overpowered, and Sasuke would too become a jiangshi. They needed to hurry. As they exited the building by the roof, they began to jump from building to building until they made it to the academy. The inside of the building was cold. I have a question, Sakura asked. If this fungus is a member of the Ophiocordyceps unilateralis species of parasitic fungi, then shouldn't it seek a warm environment and not actively seek to make things colder? Naruto then spoke. Well, you heard what Shizune said. Orochimaru's the one responsible for this, so maybe he altered it somehow to require a cold temperature. After all, it's pretty hard for a parasite to live inside of a cold body. It probably seeks to control the bodies for as long as possible, as that increases its chances of spreading infection. If that's true, Sakura said, then this thing could take over the whole world. We're looking at the start of an outbreak. We need to kill it in the cradle before it's too late. As they wandered through the halls of the academy, most of the doors were closed, save a few. That being said, other chakras could be sensed nearby, and none of them felt natural. Sasuke left his Sharingan active the whole time. They weren't alone. Do you think that these are like the jiangshi in mythology? Naruto asked. Sakura nodded. It's possible. After all, rumors have to start somewhere. Naruto thought about it. Do you think that means we'll become less detectable if we try to limit our breathing? They say that one way to avoid a jiangshi's detection is to hold your breath. Sakura shrugged. We can't be sure, but if it even has a chance of working, we should probably try it. The group held their breath as much as they could, only letting it out to take a deep breath to replace it. All the while, doing so was getting hard for Sasuke. He gripped at his shoulder as he walked, feeling the pain overtaking him. His mind was getting foggy already, and he was starting to feel weak. His entire body felt feverish. This made it much harder for him to hold his breath, and because of this, they were attacked by a nearby jiangshi. One rushed out of an open door and tackled Naruto. Naruto was shocked to see the face of his teacher looking back at him. He wanted to cry. No, not you, Iruka, no! Sasuke rushed over and kicked the jiangshi away. As it rolled, it looked up at him with a screech. Sharingan, Sasuke shouted as he began to cast genjutsu. The creature writhed for only a moment more before the will of Iruka began to re-emerge. Naruto, find Kakashi, he said as he pulled a kunai. He drove it into his own chest, puncturing the core of the parasite within. He let out a cry mixed with one from the parasite. Vomiting out black liquid comprised of blood and spores, Iruka then died. Covering their faces and holding their breath, they passed by the body, fearing that even being close to it right now might get them infected. They began to walk down the stairs until they reached the basement where the boiler room was. The boiler seemingly was destroyed for fear of the heat it would bring. There was an open manhole cover there. This must be where Kakashi-sensei went, Sasuke said. He seemed like he was about to pass out. Sakura caught him. Sasuke? She then noticed the color of his shoulder. Sasuke, are you okay? Naruto walked over and looked. What is it? Sakura started crying. Sasuke, he's infected. Naruto seemed to panic as he pulled away. We can't take him with us. What if he turns on us while we're down there? Sakura hugged him. If Sasuke turns into a Jiangshi, then so will I. I don't want to live in a world without him. You're crazy, Naruto said. Sasuke shook his head. I'm going down there whether you want me to or not, Naruto. Only my Sharingan can protect us from the Jiangshi. It's our best chance of getting to the core. If we can do it quickly enough, then maybe we can reverse the effects on me by killing it. Naruto groaned in discomfort as they all began to descend the ladder. Once they were at the bottom, they saw catacombs leading in all directions. It seemed that these tunnels were once designed to be used in evacuations, but had either fallen into disrepair or had been sabotaged by someone. If this parasite's down here, then where could it be? These catacombs span the entire village. Sakura thought about it. It would want to be somewhere cool. But where's that? Naruto asked. Sasuke pushed forward. What are you doing, Sasuke? Naruto asked. I can sense it. It's trying to draw me into the hive mind. I know where it is. It's under the butcher shop, below the freezer. Sakura and Naruto looked at each other and then continued. They let Sasuke lead them, as he seemed to be the only one who knew where they were going and was the only one who could easily defeat the Jiangshi with his Sharingan. Along the way, they found more. They weren't able to evade all of them, although Sasuke could, to some degree, find paths that had fewer. After all, possessing limited access to the hive mind allowed him to sense their locations. He would override the parasitic genjutsu and replace it with one of his own, commanding the shinobi to stab the cores in their own bodies and end it. As they drew closer, though, they saw a Sharingan glowing in the distance. Wait, Sasuke said. A voice called out to them. Naruto, Sasuke, Sakura, what are you doing down here? It's Kakashi-sensei, Naruto shouted. We came to help you, Kakashi-sensei. We know where the core is. It's under the... Sasuke put his hand out to stop Naruto from moving. Naruto, that's not Kakashi. Not anymore. Naruto's eyes widened in horror. Kakashi? He appeared before them in the light, face still mostly covered by his mask. He stood there coolly with a bit of a nonchalant manner about him. While his skin was a ghostly gray, he didn't seem too different from his normal self. Sorry for the surprise, guys, but I just couldn't resist, not after being bitten. But hey, you know what they say, if you can't beat 'em, join 'em. Though it seems Sasuke already knows what that means. Naruto shook his head and fell to his knees. I'm losing everyone I love. Kakashi stepped forward a bit and knelt down. It's okay, Naruto. I know it's scary, but if you willingly come with me, I promise I can introduce you to the master. He'll help you transition. It'll be completely painless. In fact, it'll even feel good. Ever since I've joined, I've had not even the slightest craving to read Icha Icha. This feeling is better. Join the one, Naruto. You'll never be an outcast again. Sasuke shouted, Naruto, don't listen to him. Naruto looked back at his team and then to Kakashi, whose Sharingan smiled at him. I'm sorry, Kakashi-sensei. I really wish I could have saved you. Kakashi sighed. Shame. I wish you had chosen the easy way, but hard way it is. He reached up and ripped off his gaiter to display that he had no lower jaw, only a myriad of razor-sharp needles protruding from his upper jaw and his exposed throat. He screeched and raced toward them. Sasuke, use your Sharingan, Sakura shouted. I can't. He has one too. It won't work. Naruto narrowly dodged him. He pulled out a kunai. Kakashi stopped and stood before turning around. Sorry guys, but this is your final lesson. Sasuke looked through Kakashi's body and found the location of the core. Naruto, Sakura, the core is located in Kakashi's right lung. If you can pierce it or remove it, it'll kill him. But I don't want to kill him, Naruto cried out, tears dripping from his eyes. Too bad, he's already dead. We're just gonna set him free. Naruto jumped down from the wall he was stuck to attack Kakashi. He struck Kakashi with a Rasengan only for it to turn into a log. He could use ninjutsu? Suddenly, Kakashi appeared behind Naruto, his fingers showing slowly lengthening razor-sharp claws. 1,000 years of death! He prepared to stab Naruto in the undercarriage with his claws, each claw dripping with spores. Naruto knew he'd screwed up. That was when Sasuke rushed in with another Chidori. He managed to pierce through Kakashi's chest and the core. Kakashi let out a cry of agony as he too vomited up black blood and perished. Sakura rushed to Naruto's side. "Naruto, are you okay?" "It's fine," he said. "He didn't touch me. Naruto began to break down into tears. "Kakashi-sensei." Sakura looked up at Sasuke. "Sasuke, are you okay?" Sasuke looked at his hand, covered in black blood. He took a deep breath as the air began to grow chillier. "I'm sorry, guys, but I think my immune system just gave in." "No, Sasuke, no!" Sakura shouted as she tried to go to him, but Naruto pulled her back. "Sakura, stop!" Sasuke turned around as his Sharingan began to shift to the same glowing red stoplights of the Jiangshi. His skin grew paler as his body suddenly began giving off the odor of death. "I'm sorry, Naruto. If you survive this, promise me something." "What is it?" Naruto asked. "Please, avenge my clan, kill Itachi, and protect Sakura." Naruto, tears in his eyes, nodded. "I will." Sasuke then smiled. "Then please, kill me." Suddenly his body grew more feral as putrid black wings appeared on his back, a black mark covering the bridge of his nose. His teeth began to fall out, replaced by the strange knives that all Jiangshi seemed to possess. As he rose up into the air, his bones crunched and contorted until they became more loose and flexible. He rushed at Sakura and Naruto. They got out of the way. Sasuke let loose a cry of insanity as he turned around. Naruto noticed something. He saw a pulsation. "The core's in his shoulder." "Please, Naruto, don't kill Sasuke. We can still save him." Naruto shook his head. "Sakura, he's gone. We can't do anything except put him down." Sasuke drew closer, grabbed the two of them, and threw them into the wall. As he approached, Sakura, getting back to her feet, met his face with a strong strike of her fist, sending him flying. Sasuke hit the other wall. Naruto, partially conscious, could only hear the sounds of fighting and Sakura's screams for Sasuke. When Naruto finally came to, he saw Sasuke sitting atop Sakura, preparing to bite. Grabbing his kunai, Naruto rushed in. He stabbed it into Sasuke's shoulder, driving it deeper and twisting into the core. Sasuke growled, cried out, and then vomited black blood all over Sakura. He then fell. Naruto saw this and lamented his own idiocy. He had just gotten Sakura infected. He went to help her only for her to push him away. She crawled over to Sasuke. "Sasuke!" She held him in her arms. Sasuke opened his eyes for a moment and spoke. "Sakura, I'm sorry." She shook her head. "Don't be. As I said, I'd rather die than be in a world without you." Sasuke didn't speak again, and Sakura began to cry. She pulled out a kunai and prepared to end her life, but Naruto stopped her. "No, Sakura, don't do it." She looked at him. "What kind of life is worth living without Sasuke?" she asked. "I promised Sasuke that I'd protect you. He didn't want you to die, so please don't do this." "I'm becoming a Jiangshi anyway. There's nothing now that can stop this. I'd rather die." "Then give me a chance," Naruto said. "Give me a chance to kill this core. If you do and I succeed, then you won't become a Jiangshi." Sakura looked at him and then sat the kunai down. "Fine, I'll wait. But listen, the moment I'm sure I'm going to turn into a Jiangshi, I'm doing it. I'm ending my life." Naruto let out a sigh. Just give me a chance." She looked at him with anger and tears in her eyes. "Go, stop wasting time." Naruto stood and began to run. As he did, he rushed into the room below the butcher shop. He was startled by what he saw. There was a giant mass of fungus. It almost seemed to have veins pulsing through it, full of blood. It looked like a brain. Naruto stood there in shock before resolving to kill it. That's when it spoke.
"Ah, the fox demon. I've heard of you from the minds of my children. What is it that you seek to do? Have you come to join me?"
Naruto shook his head and prepared a Rasengan. "No, I've come to kill you." He jumped into the air and smashed it into the fungal core, but as he did, tendrils shot up from the floor and down from the ceiling. He began to cut and carve at them with his kunai, but he couldn't break free. He started to panic. "No, no!" The creature brought Naruto closer to it. It spoke again.
"For all your bluster, you're just a failure. You couldn't save Sasuke, nor could you save your village. You're just a blundering fool. At this point, I wonder if I even want you in my hive. But then again, if I'm the one controlling you, then perhaps you could be useful."
It then began to assimilate Naruto into it. As it did, Naruto saw the past, his dreams and failures, memories he didn't even know he had. And in the end, his entire body itched and burned as every pore was assaulted by this fungus. He felt his body losing its shape as it transformed him into something he wasn't. He was becoming the host of the very patriarch of the hive. As he felt his body bubbling and reacting to the poisonous creature, ripping his cells apart, Naruto slowly felt the darkness envelop him. "I don't want to die." Naruto screamed as he sat up in bed. He was drenched in sweat. He breathed in deeply as he started to process everything. Wait, was that all just a dream? Terrified, he grabbed his stuffed toad and a kunai. He carefully approached the door, weapon pointed toward it. He unlocked the door and opened it, ready to kill whatever was on the other side. He was surprised to find it was Kakashi, Sakura, and Sasuke. They all let out a gasp. "Naruto, put that thing away," Sakura said. Naruto dropped the kunai. "Kakashi-sensei, Sasuke, Sakura, I thought you guys..." He let out a sigh of relief. He felt like crying. "What are you guys doing here?" he asked. "We came to check up on you," Kakashi said. "You were supposed to meet us about an hour ago at the park." Naruto looked at the clock. "Shoot, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to. I just accidentally slept in. I had a nightmare about this parasitic fungus and it turned you all into Jiangshi. It was terrifying." Kakashi laughed. "Jiangshi? You mean like the old legends about the hopping vampires? I'm regretting telling you that story." "What story?" Naruto asked. "Just last night, I took you and Sakura out to eat and told you the story about Jiangshi. I guessed it must have startled you. Sorry about that. The story was supposed to be a parable about how hatred can turn people into monsters." Everyone stopped to look at Sasuke for a moment. "Anyway, get your going out places clothes on and come on, we got a big day today." Naruto turned around and raced to get his clothes on. As he did so, he noticed a mushroom growing out of the head of a single ant on his windowsill. The ant sat there and stared at Naruto intently from outside the window. Naruto felt his heart beating faster. He thought his body were itching just looking at it. Turning around, he went back to the door to exit his apartment, leaving the mushroom and its host to roam free in Konoha behind him. And that's where the story's gonna end. I hope you enjoyed it. I've had this idea for a while. I wanted to tell the story of a fungal parasite ever since I heard about them not long ago. The more I researched it for a plot, the more I came to realize that I'm not the only one using the zombie ant fungus as a plot point to explain a sudden outbreak. But despite it being used before, I thought that maybe I could add a new spice that might make it seem more original. I hope you all enjoyed it. If so, tell us about it in the comments below. And while you're at it, feel free to like, subscribe, and ring the bell to be notified about our newest videos as they drop. And if you still crave more of a fright, check out these other spooky Naruto videos on the screen right here. Anyway, until next time, peace out. Next.